MS Word can measure speaking ability. This changes everything. Gunther Breaux has taught conversation to Korean university freshmen for 23 years. When he first started, getting students to speak was like pulling teeth. So he made a conversation book. This got students speaking, then he needed a speaking test. So he made a conversation test. The test is the next big thing. It fundamentally changes how foreign languages can be taught. With the book and test, he created a new method, conversation-based learning. Conversation is the goal, the class, and the test. There is no smaller unit. This presentation is about the test. MS Word can measure speaking ability. This changes everything. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. But first, a math class has a math test. A typing class has a typing test. A history class has a history test. A listening class has a listening test. A conversation class must have a conversation test. This is sound education in human nature. What gets tested gets done. Part 1 shows that it's easy, accurate, and improves speaking 50%. Part 2 gives details from A to Z, partners, transcripts, grading. Preface. For too long, English education has focused on grammar because grammar is easy to test. Now, conversation is easy to test. This fundamentally changes how foreign languages can be taught. This changes everything. It's easy to give and grade. It measures and improves speaking ability. Students get extensive personal feedback. Teachers get accurate grading and improvement data. And students do all the work. First, it's easy. 3 students of similar ability have a 17-minute conversation. They record it with their phone and transcribe just what they said. Takes about 2 hours. MS Word gives their ability and their improvement. Simple. Transcribing takes about 2 hours. MS Word gives how many words they spoke, how many times they spoke. Words divided by times gives their average words per utterance. 2 hours after the test, here's the speaking ability of everyone in class. You can see their ability. Total words is their speaking ability. It's accurate. They are beginning speakers, speaking as fast as they can. It's as accurate as a typing test. Like beginning typists, students are hunting and pecking in their brain for the correct word and the correct word order. This is a communicative test, and MS Word measures precisely how much they communicated. Here's their ability in words per minute. The top student spoke 40 words per minute. The bottom student spoke 10 words per minute. Wow, that's a big difference. Yes, this test measures speaking ability, not memorizing ability. So, step aside, let them speak, and MS Word will measure their speaking ability. That's how to measure ability. Here's how to measure improvement. Give another test. Always different partners. Here's typical data from the first test, average words per utterance and total words. And second test data. Here's the improvement. 50% improvement. Average words per utterance increased 80%. Longer speaking is smoother speaking. In the same amount of time, they spoke 20% more words. That means shorter pauses and fewer pauses. This is 50% improvement in 7 weeks. 50% in 7 weeks? Yes, Korean freshmen are long-term students but beginning speakers. They just finished 10 years of grammar-based English education. And their last 3 years were spent on Sunung test preparation, with very little speaking. If you step aside and let them speak, their speaking will improve. A quick detail. Total words is their speaking ability. Average words per utterance is not. Here's why. First, low-level speakers sometimes memorize a paragraph and then go quiet. This gives high average words, which is not accurate, and low total words, which is accurate. Second, high-level speakers often make many comments, no kidding, and ask many short questions. Why? What about you? And sometimes dumb down. This gives them low average words, which is not accurate. However, average words per utterance is an excellent measure of improvement. Longer speaking is smoother speaking and more confident speaking, which are very good qualities to have on a job interview. In short, students do all the talking, MS Word gives their ability and their improvement. Simple. And when speaking improves 50%, TOEIC, TOEFL, and IELTS scores improve 20%. All that without one molecule of grammar. Now that conversation is easy to test, English education can be conversation-based instead of grammar-based. This changes everything. That's it. Are you in or out? 3 quick questions. Is transcribing difficult? No. Low-level speakers speak at a low level. They're transcribing what they said. I born in Suwon. They're not transcribing the BBC News. How long does transcribing take? It takes everybody 2 hours or less. There is a yin and yang. The better speakers speak more and have more transcribing ability. The lesser speakers speak less and have less to transcribe. What about mistakes? The best tennis players in the world make mistakes all the time. They self-correct. And so do conversation-based learning students. Their mother no longer ties their shoes, and teachers no longer find their mistakes. I have 4 families. My mother is a house. My brother, she is in Army. When I was a middle school. These mistakes do not require teacher input. When they transcribe their conversation test, they hear, type, and read every mistake they made. They also hear their partner's mistakes. Instead of cramming grammar for 3 hours before a test, students transcribe for 2 hours after the test. That's a much better and longer lasting use of time. In 5 minutes, they can find and fix their top 5 mistakes. This is a new century with new technology. Finding mistakes is no longer the teacher's job. Get a hobby. Every student has a phone, a computer, and 2 hours. If a student is too lazy to transcribe for 2 hours, that's a lazy student problem, not an English class problem. Details. The test from A to Z. Before the test, Students download the MS Word transcript template and their test partners in time. During the test, I watch. I record the test with my iPhone, I've got a timer, and their grade sheet. What does the teacher do? I jot down a holistic basic ability score. This is just my opinion. I'm not worried about being exact because every semester they have 3 tests with 6 different partners. The average score of 3 tests will be pretty accurate. I take notes of the most common mistakes, in my case. Imperfect communication. We were a couple, but now we're broken. Self-correcting. Did you meet? I used to jot down the new vocabulary they used, but they give that to me on their transcript, so I stopped. I used to jot down their major mistakes, but they give that to me on their transcript, so I stopped. Like I said, the test is easy. My major interest now is in their self-corrections. I think that's a major and visible source of improvement. After the test. Sunday afternoon, while I'm binge watching Netflix, 90 students are each spending 2 hours transcribing and self-correcting. When I wake up Monday morning, their transcripts are in my email box, neatly sorted by class number. On Tuesday morning, their transcripts are on my desk. The week after the test, students come in at their same test time with their same test partners and watch their test. That's what I call feedback. If they are happy with the way they look, speak, and sound, fine. If not, they can start preparing for the next test. It will be the exact same thing with 2 different partners. Partners. The first day placement test gives their ability, which gives their first test partners. The 3 top scores will be partners. The 3 lowest scores will be partners. And every group in between. This ensures the test will be fair and accurate. And, I love this part, how many words they speak on the first test determines their partners for the second test. Those who spoke the most will be partners. Those who spoke the least will be partners. And every group in between. This ensures that the second test will be fair and even more accurate. Wow, that's pretty neat. We use partners, not grammar. Here's partners for the third test. They are grouped by their average total words on the first 2 tests. As you can easily see, the test will be fair and the results accurate. Put them in groups of similar ability and let them speak. And the bigger the class, the better. Big classes have more partners of similar ability, which means the tests are more fair and more accurate. That's another reason why I love big classes. Transcripts. Their transcript shows how many words they spoke, how many times they spoke, their average words per utterance, the new vocabulary used, their top 5 mistakes. The second transcript also shows their improvement. Students can see their improvement, and so can their parents. I give 3 tests. More tests equals more improvement. And hey, students do all the work. Students do all this in 2 hours or less. They just fill in the MS Word template. Simple. Transcript types. The starter transcript shows their total words and average words per utterance. Here's the basic first transcript. Second test transcript includes their improvement. The third test transcript includes their semester improvement. All transcripts take about the same amount of time. The second and third test will have more data, but they're faster at transcribing. Here's a typical first test transcript. It's a communicative test. Here's what was said in a test of 3 male students. I have one sister. She is the model. How old are her? Number 3 communicated, but 2 mistakes in 4 words. Should he be penalized for that? Should number 2 be rewarded for saying nothing perfectly? No. It's a communicative test, and number 3 communicated. Mistakes mean they went outside their comfort zone to communicate. And that's good. More mistakes means more improvement. Grading. It's a test, like any other test. Different factors count for different weights. Here's how I do it. Basic ability is worth 20%. It's just my opinion. But at the bottom end, it's very lenient. No matter how low their ability, the lowest ability score is 70. Total words is worth 20%. This forces them to speak. New vocabulary is worth 20%. This forces them to prepare, which results in longer speaking. And it's easy to count. Top 5 mistakes is 10%. This forces them to self-correct, and it's easy to count. Transcripts are 30%. This is a data-driven test, and I need their data. On time. On time is easy to count. Late students give me widespread grades. Grades are widespread from 48 to 98, transparent, objective. This is grading for the second test. The third test adds the criteria of using first, second, third with specific examples. We measure how much students do, not how much they do wrong. I use these factors. You can use whatever your core concerns are. This is a new century with new technology. Stop grading speaking with grammar mistakes. This test is for the mass production of speaking ability for Asian teenagers. Very good. However, the solution to every problem creates a new problem. What happens when students react to this test like they did to the Sunung test and try to game the system by practicing speaking outside of class? That would be good. How many partners? How many tests? 3 is perfect. 3 partners are perfect. With pairs, if one partner is a deadbeat, that can adversely affect their partner's performance. 4 is way too many. 3 is perfect, and there's more real-world interaction. 3 tests are perfect. With the first test on week 4, you know their ability before they start improving. Early on, it shows students what the class is about. The average of 3 tests is more accurate. More tests equals more accuracy and more improvement. 3 tests. 6 different partners, 17 minutes each, 51 minutes total. The results are fair and accurate. The first test is to get them speaking and determine their ability. It's a practice test. Everybody who shows up on time makes an A+. They like that. Thus, you don't have to waste class time on detailed test instructions. Show up on time and have a conversation. Second test. They speak longer and smoother, using new vocabulary. Using new vocabulary forces them to prepare, which results in longer speaking. This guarantees improvement data. Neat. The third test. They do it again, better. They speak longer and smoother, academically. At least once during the test, they use first, second, third with specific examples. This forces them to speak longer, which guarantees great improvement data. On this last test, I grouped the best speakers from 3 different classes. They were total strangers, but good, confident speakers. She's from France, very good speaker. He had been a Katusha during his army service. They had a fun, interesting conversation about what they chose for their second major and their winter vacation plans. Okay, what do they do between tests? It's a conversation class. They have conversations. What does the teacher do in class? As little as possible. If the teacher's talking, students are not. We use partners, not grammar. The engine of improvement is a lot of speaking with a lot of partners. Everybody's speaking half the time your partner's a better speaker. Many partners make you smoother, better partners make you better. There's your language gain. Test partners of similar ability give you fair and accurate testing. Simple. In conclusion, 3 conversation tests accurately gives their ability, which accurately gives their improvement. Speaking improves 50%, and you can prove it. The goal of a 10-year English education should not be to pass one last standardized test. It's speaking ability. And this test gives it. It's easy. Students do all the work. It's accurate. MS Word gives their ability and their improvement. It's human nature. What gets tested gets done.